Alrighty, we are at a roadside rest area. The unit we're delivering is behind me. We'll be sleeping in it tonight here at this rest area. Beautiful little rest area. And this is April and May's update. Yeah, I'm running behind. April was very busy due to the fact of prepping and selling the house, which goes all credited to Dawn. She did an amazing job at prepping it. She did an amazing job at boxing and setting up storage and storing everything, organizing everything. She is awesome as far as that's concerned, and she's an awesome person anyway. We all have attitudes, but yet anyway, I have a major one. Like everybody can tell you, I have attitudes. Anyway, back on track. Egressing. She did really good at doing all that stuff, so I really appreciate it. I had confidence in her, left her there. I worked 15 days in April, she worked 5. The other part of the days, she was at the house getting everything organized. So yes, it was a lot of work. However, made it through it, sold the house in May. We're good. We'll cover that a little bit more here in a moment. Like I said, I worked 15 days, she worked 5. Add those together, we worked 20 days. We did 7 different units of delivering. I used to say loads, don't say loads, say units, RVs. That's what we do, is we deliver RV units. So that's where we're at. Mosquito got me, I guess. We made a little over $8,500 in April. Very good month for 7 units. And then our take home was just a little over $5,400. So did really good there. The process of April was just busy with getting the house done. That's the reason why I didn't make a video. Plus I'm lazy. Let's be realistic. Making videos is not as easy as everybody makes it out to be, but there's a lot of work in editing, and I'm not editing them, so therefore it's actually really easy. So yeah, you can blame laziness. Yes, I have my notes here in front of me. Storage unit, Dawn set up a storage unit for us. Everything we wanted to keep went into a 10 by 10 storage unit. We said if we can't fit it in the 10 by 10, we weren't keeping it. So hence, that's the reason why we did it that way. Beautiful, it worked. We can still squeeze in and get to everything that we want to get to. And like I said, squeeze in. No, you can't walk around in the 10 by 10, but you can squeeze into different spots. You can squeeze all the way to the back and get to what you need on either side of wherever. So it is usable. I mentioned how much we make here. This is realistic, okay? I've been listening to a lot of people in a lot of locations, and they're talking about how lucrative this is. And they're telling you what they make in gross. I listened to 4 different people discuss how they're making over $150,000 gross. Okay? But when you come back and you ask them, what out of that $150,000, what are you paying for? Well, we're paying for a brand spanking new truck. That's about $1,500 a month. Yeah, that's a lot of money right there alone. Just $1,500 a month. Okay. Yeah, that's what, 15, 1,200, 12,000, $18,000 a year. They're paying for a brand new truck. So I don't believe a lot of people are making as much money as they say they are. Are they making between $4,000 and $6,000 take home? Yes. Are they making $10,000 take home? No, I don't think so. That's my thoughts. As everybody knows, Texas will call it as I see it, how I believe in it, and what I think it is. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, it just makes it the way I'm seeing it. Now, if somebody can tell me differently, then okay, we'll go with something. Somebody shows me differently and shows me data, I will come across and say, hey, I'll change that. I met somebody that made $10,000 in a month. Take them. But nobody's showing that. So let's be realistic. All right. Anyway, so it's not as lucrative as people like you believe. It is a lot of work. There's breakdowns. There's all kinds of different things that goes wrong. We even had a unit rejected. I'll cover that a little bit later. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that happen. The thing of it is that you go forward. You expect breakdowns. We are the guinea pigs that are picking out everything that's going wrong in these units. Okay? With that being said, people think that, hey, it's brand new, there's nothing wrong with it. Bull crap. It doesn't matter what you go to buy today. If you have something that 100 people are putting together, and yes, there's 100 different people that are putting together one automobile, one RV, one of anything of that magnitude. So there can be that many problems. When somebody builds a house, there's that many problems. Some of the homeowners that are having the house built don't see it because the general contractor is the one that sees it and fixes it before they see it. So they think everything went smooth when the general contractor was pulling out his hair every single night, or every other night. So literally, let's be realistic here, okay? These are put together by so many different people, so many different hands, so many different manufacturers, so many different companies are involved in these. So yes, there are problems, and yes, we will find them. Okay, will we find all of them? No. Customers will find the others. No, unfortunately, but we can find a lot of them, if not the majority of them, beforehand, which brings a better experience to the customer. So when you're driving down the road and all of a sudden your engine light comes on, don't panic. There is a routine to do something. Yes, it means it's going to take a little bit of time out of you. Yes, you're going to lose a little bit of time, which time is money. If your tires are not rolling, you're not making money. So yes, you're going to run into that. But you expect it, you plan for it. These people are coming into this job saying, I can get an RV to get 10 miles to the gallon. I can get an RV to get 12 miles to the gallon. Okay, but if you plan on 8 miles to the gallon and you make your life around 8 miles to the gallon and you succeed at doing 10 miles to the gallon, that's extra, and you put that aside for that rainy day when you do run into that breakdown. That's only 8 miles to the gallon for that trip. So you are prepared for it. Okay? Plan it, know it. That's the key behind this lucrative business everybody wants to call this. And some people say you can't make money in this. Well, they're lying too, because you can make money. You just got to manage everything correctly. Alrighty. One of the managing of things correctly happens to be is logging your time. Alright. There's people that are arguing about different things for drive away versus tow away. Well, let's be realistic. Tow away, your vehicle is registered as a DOT vehicle, so therefore you have to follow the rules, which is you can drive no more than 11 hours in a day. You can work no more than 14 hours in a day, so that 11 hours in driving and 3 hours in something else that you're doing with that vehicle or with that unit. Okay, so therefore that equals 14 hours. All right. Now you can drive anywhere between 400 to 700 miles in that 11-hour day. Some people will argue with me that you can't do 700. Some people argue with me that you can. That's the reason why I threw it in there. Anyway, so with that being said, there's where you're at. You have people that are like me and Dawn. We're not here to drive, as I would say, hard-nosed at something. Okay? We're not hardcore into this. Alrighty? We are in leisure. That means that we will drive and stop at this roadside park. No, we only drove 416 miles today. We only got 200 miles to go. Why should we bust our butts to go the extra 200 miles tonight when we can do it tomorrow? And then we're going to go to Myrtle Beach and spend 2 nights or 3 nights or whatever it is of sightseeing and living it up. Okay? Simple. That's the way we are. So that's how we are doing it. We're doing it leisurely. All right? So you got some people, and there's nothing against them doing this. That is, they start their drive, they do their 11 hours, they squeeze in their 30-minute lunch and their two 15-minute breaks. That's an hour right there. So you got 11, 12 hours, and they literally succeed at doing everything they need to do in that 12 hours and stop, and they bed down and go to sleep and crash and get up in 10 hours and start their next day, because they are within their legal rights, okay, of how the logbooks are documented. So they start their next day after that 10 hours. So literally, now they're back at it for another 12 hours. Let's say they squeeze in 13 hours, all right, instead of 12. And then they sleep for 10, and they're right back at it. Now, very true, they can only do 70 hours in an 8-day period. So that means that once they hit that 70-hour point, they stop and sit for 34 hours, wherever they are. They may live in Indiana and they hit 34 hours in Illinois, just an hour away, 2 hours away, they will sit right there. That vehicle will not go any further. So that's the thing. And they have no problem with that. Okay? The way me and Dawn do it, we're doing leisure in between these units, so therefore our 34-hour reset never happens. Our 34-hour reset happens with us doing 34-hour reset as we choose. Every other unit or every third unit, however we wish to do it. So that's the key behind it. That's where you log, and some people are home on the weekends and they show back up to their house Friday night or Saturday morning, and then they leave on Sunday night and come back and do this job. So literally that's their 34 hours is at home. And they never hit the 70 hours, so they're really good. All right? But that's the key behind it. All right? And that's called enjoying America. So, like I said, we sold the house. We don't have a home. So when people ask us, where do we live? We say, America. And they look at us strange because we're standing in it right along with them. They're like, so do we. Well, no, you live in such and such house and so. We live in every little spot that we go to stop. This rest area. No, when we stay at a hotel in Myrtle Beach, or when we stay at the beachside camping site. Okay? Wherever it is, that's where we live. And we're enjoying it. Eat your heart out, people. Anyway, all right, so there you go. That's how that works. That's what we're doing to make our life in our 50s enjoyable. Now, will we settle down and finally get a place? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure out when. May. May was very contradicting of itself, because I worked 19 days, Dawn worked 14. Now, with that being said, that means that we literally succeeded at working 33 days in May. Here's the trick. We made just under 8,500. Well, wait, we only worked 20 days back in April. We made over 8,500. We made under 8,500. We made $8,427 or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a low number, 8,400. And our take home was $4,600. Under $4,600, $4,593, I think, $45,900 something. Anyway, so literally, you really got to ask yourself, what was the difference? Oh, wait a minute, there was 11 units. I almost said 11 loads, Yoders, Amish people. 11 loads 11 units that we delivered. Okay, and only under 8,500, only under 4,600. What was the major difference? What happened there? Pause 1 second here. I gotta do something to the camera here, just to make sure that we are setting. We are good. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I know you've seen it jiggle there. Making sure screensaver did not come on. And yes, we're up to 14 minutes. In either case, we've got to hurry this up. The difference between the loads was real simple. We took several loads that were under 300 miles. or one load I think was just over 300, but the others were under 300 miles. And everybody says it doesn't matter what the distance of the load is, the money's the same. No, it's not. The price per mile pretty much is the same. It's real close. It's within 5 cents of each other. What becomes the difference is the time it takes to connect and unconnect the car, the time to do check-in. So if you do those things, that equals up the time. When you stop to fill up, and you got to calculate your miles and your gallons and so forth, that takes a little bit more time compared to driving a long distance when you're doing, let's say, above 600 miles, and therefore you fill up, and now you can actually measure your miles between your quarter tanks. So in other words, between 3/4 tank and half a tank and half a tank and a quarter tank, you can measure the mileage that you made those rounds and get a good average of how many miles it's going to need on its tank to equal up to a quarter tank when you get to your destination, because we have to deliver these things with a quarter tank or more. So you want to be as close to that quarter tank as possible. Well, if you do your calculations there, you're good. But if you don't get that distance to do that, that means you got to figure out how much is in the tank, and you got to play with it. You might have to stop twice or something to that effect just to get that 200-mile part and stay at a quarter tank and not throw away money at $5 or $6 a gallon for diesel, or $4 or $5 a gallon for regular gas. So literally, that's what you've got to do your calculations on, okay? And that takes up time too. Also, people say, well, under, let's say 250 miles, all right, divide that by 70 miles an hour. Oh yeah, you're looking at what? No, 3 hours, just barely, a little over 3 hours, okay? 250 miles. When you divide it by 5, you're looking at 5 hours. So there's 2 hours difference there. Now, why would I divide it by 5 or 50 miles an hour? Because 50 miles an hour really calculates how you can drive these RVs and stop for fuel and take care of your PTIs and all those equations. So literally, people that are saying I can travel 60 miles an hour in these things, I'll divide it by 60, you're still not looking at the truth. The truth is that you go and stop for fuel, you stop for a break, you stop for this, or you take time to do PTI and do your inspections and then do your post inspections afterwards. Those things are what calculates, and then you got to really add that in there, and disconnecting and connecting the car, or unloading and loading your gear out of the vehicle and getting your Uber and things like that. Whatever you're doing, all those equal up to part of this calculation. So hence, that's the reason why you really got to do the calculation true to the numbers, which in mine and Dawn's case is 50 miles an hour, and it works. Every time I've calculated 50 miles an hour, divide any mileage by 50, we have been really right close to that number. By the time we walk out of that dealership, get in the car, look at it and calculate, we equaled that exact amount of hours that we put in our Keep Trucking app, which has changed the motive, but yet anyway, so literally that's the way we calculate. So when they say it's under 300 miles and it's a day out and day back and you're good, no, we've actually gone a day out, waited around for somebody to do the inspection, get the inspection, and now we're sitting at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and you want us to drive 3 hours to get back and arrive at 10 o'clock? No, we'll drive in the morning. No, we're not killing ourselves for this job. This is not for us to have a job. This is a leisure, and we make money at it, okay? This is a fun task, and we're making money. Are we making a lot? No. Are we making enough that we're enjoying? Yes. So that's where that's at. So literally, when I divided it out, it came up to May equaled up to just around 500 miles a trip, and April was over 900 miles a trip. So literally, that's where your differences were in when it comes down to the money. We make more money if we take longer trips. That's just the way it works. It's great. We love it. I mentioned earlier that domicile. Domicile is where you set up mail forwarding, where you get a virtual address, so that way you can actually register your license and get a driver's license. You can get your car registered. You can get all the legal things that you need to have a permanent physical address. So the banks won't bank with you if you don't have an address. Well, you get an address, and it's called domicile. A virtual address, and it's called domicile. Now, with that being said, that means that the bank, in our case, we're going to do South Dakota. So, sorry, itch. In South Dakota, we're going to be domiciled in South Dakota. So our driver's license will change to South Dakota. The thing of it is that South Dakota will get our driver's license changed to that. The bank will have that as a physical address, but then we have a mailing address for the bank, so therefore it sends all the mail to a post office box. So we don't have to pay the domicile to send us the mail twice. So the mail will come automatically to us. But things like car registration, you can't set that up on a mailing address. You have to set that up on a physical address, and everything they do will go to that physical address. And then the domicile, the company that we're using, Escapees, definitely refer to them. 100% with them, thanks to the Hanks, thanks to you, me, and the RV, thanks to Changing Lanes. Those are three other YouTubers that I definitely pay attention to. Me and Dawn both pay attention to. We laughed our asses off at many of their videos. Loving it. Today is our someday. We're doing it every day and making money at it. All right, in either case, this is where we're at on the domicile. I can't tell you a lot about it. I just know that we just now set it up. We're not 100% in yet. We just did the registration and did the notary for the registration of it. So all that's been done, and it's going to be mail forwarding. They'll call us sometime over the next couple of days and make sure all funding's done and everything's done, and then we'll have an actual address. Then we'll drive up to Sussex Falls, S-I-O-U-X. How do you pronounce that? S-I-O-U-X. Sussex Falls, South Dakota, and do our registration, do our driver's license and registration for our vehicle. We'll go ahead and get our insurance switched over to Sussex Falls. Sussex. I keep on saying Sussex as in Sussex, Delaware. It's a county, Sussex County, but Sioux, something like that. Anyway, yeah, I'm screwing this all up. Anyway, like I said, I want to say thanks to the Hanks. Thanks, Hanks. You can YouTube them, look them up. You will find a new sitcom to sit there and watch them 2 or 3 times and find more things funnier the second time you watch them. You, me, and the RV, really great on what they're doing and giving people ideas on what to do and so forth, and the RV lifestyle. They're touching base in that RV lifestyle, which is great. Then you got Changing Lanes. They're also touching base on lifestyle of RV living. Both these couples are living in their RVs. Actually, all of them are. Thanks, Hanks, does also. The Hanks. That's hashtag thanks, Hanks. So definitely throw that out there. I will try to put links for the video down at the bottom. This has been a awesome time watching them, and you feel like you know them because you know a lot about them, but yet you still don't know them. Believe me. I've never met any of them. Dawn's never met any of them. Hopefully we'll run into them someday on the road. They're the reasons why I'm starting this video. And the video is mainly just to help people learn what drive-away is and doing RV transporting, because I couldn't find very many drive-away YouTubes. So this is where I'm doing this. This is why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it to gain a million subscribers. I really don't care about how many subscribers I have. Sorry, YouTube. Let's be honest. We're making money. We're enjoying it. That's the point. And I'm making the videos due to the fact Dawn doesn't really like being in the picture light, so therefore that's the reason why she's not in a lot of spots. I will try to get her in the future. Love her to death. So that's enough about the egress into that. The domicile, back onto that. Once we get further along, I'll explain a little bit more. But the key is that we'll have an address in South Dakota. It's not a physical address. We don't have to report there or anything to that effect. But we do have to stay one night in South Dakota, indicating that we were there. We've been there. We'll probably stay 2 or 3 nights. We'll find different campsites and go enjoy ourselves. So that's the key. All right. I touched base on driving an RV, and no, you can only get between 60 and 65 miles, or sometimes less than that, depending on your RPMs. No, and drive them comfortably and really make money without throwing it into the gas tank. All right. So let's recap over what was happened here. We sold the house, went awesome. We made a few dollars on that, not a lot, just a few. Yes, I paid off an ex. When me and the ex bought the house, we used money from her inheritance to put down. I made the commitment when I divorced her that I would pay her back that money. She never took a lien out. Whether she believed in me or trusted me for it, I don't know. I really don't care, sorry. But in either case, I will stick to my word as much as I can. There are some things that people make their word at, and you can't stick to it because other things interrupt it. This was something that I had no problem sticking to. I made the first comment to the real estate agent was, I need to pay $10,000 to an ex that we used her money to put into this house when this house sells. So therefore she gets it. And the real estate agent said, I will take care of that, and got a hold of the title company, told them to make sure that when we get paid, first $10,000 goes to her before I get my money. So, or we got our money, me and Dawn. So that's what was done. Now, a lot of people argue with me, well, she never filed any lien against or anything like that. You didn't have to do that, blah, blah, blah. Look, there are some things I have morals about. Yes, I'm the biggest pervert you'll ever meet, but there are some things I have morals about, okay? So don't get the confusion. People can have certain lifestyles and still have morals, all right? Now, the one thing I will touch base is that selling of the house, we did make a few extra dollars. All that's going into savings. We're going to try to leave that as much alone as possible. Did buy a new laptop. It'll be here sometime in June. So hopefully that will help with rendering of these videos. That's the reason why I'm not rendering them now. The reason why I don't like doing them is because I don't have the capabilities of doing the cut and pasting and all that good stuff and rendering them. And let's be realistic, a 20-minute video took 4.5 hours to render, and then it took another 4.5 hours to upload. I don't have time to sit in one spot to do that. Now, if we are in a hotel and we're going to be there for a couple of days, that's when I'll do it. But other than that, no. In either case, there's where we're at as far as everything's concerned. A recap real quick. April, I worked 15, Dawn worked 5, $8,500, over $8,500 grossed, and just over $5,400 was take home. No, that was for 15 and 5 equaling 20 days worth of work. In May, I worked 19 days, Dawn worked 14 days. No, once again, we made just under $8,500, and we made just under $4,600 take home. So literally a major difference. The difference between the two was the factor of having some shorter loads. That does cost time, and therefore it takes up the capabilities of being able to make more money. and that's the problem. So that's a problem with us. So we're going to try to make sure that we don't take anything that's shorter than at least 500, be the least amount. We would like to see everything above 600, 700 miles and go that route. There's where we're at. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, and jelly beans, people. No, keep it real.